Everyone, my name is Alicia Jackson, licensed professional counselor, and welcome to my channel. Today we are reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 17, Reunion Part 1. Here at this channel we do a different type of therapeutic review. We do a different type of therapeutic review where we get a little curious and wonder what is happening internally with these couples that's making them show up in this way. What is happening? What has happened? What had happened? That's what we want to know. And so we get a little curious, hopefully to learn a little bit about couples, relationships, and potentially a little bit about ourselves. If you are returning, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Now let's get started. So, this reunion left me a bit miffed. I don't even know what I just watched. I don't know. I don't know what I watched. I don't know. And when I'm saying like what I watched, I mean the whole season. It's a challenge. And so Kevin starts the reunion in the energy. He always has this part of him that's like, what happened? And he kind of gave the whole cast this like firm talking to you all tried to control the situation, for lack of a better word. They had parts of them that were trying to control the narrative and their narrative, and that got in the way of the process. And this season was such a mess because of it. Now, he did say some things that made me wonder, because he's like, well, you need to trust the experts because they are very good at what they do. And I'm like, I don't know if that's completely the truth. And at the same time, it's like trusting the process. And so what I'm hearing is, right, there's a part of them that signed up for this Married at First Sight for whatever reason. Could be that they were trying to build their social media following. It could be that they were trying to actually find love. It could be so many different things. And also there was a part of them that was trying to control how they were being seen. And so Becca lets the cat out the bag that all of them, the wives, even though they came to find love, that the husbands had a plan to, hey, let's try to work together on this and not put all of our relationship on camera and let production have its way about how things are produced. They don't want to be produced. A part of them felt uncomfortable with being produced. And so that part of them, those parts of them that felt uncomfortable being produced, I wonder like what they were concerned about. The huge piece I'm sensing is like they were concerned about being judged or ridiculed or being drugged right on the internet. Those are some of their concerns. And at the same time, what happened is we saw that really the relationship and what the women felt, or the four of the women felt, that their relationship was not the main focus, that the focus was how they were being seen. And so it is a challenge. It's a challenge to remain open, right? So if we're coming into a situation, I'm saying we as humans, if we're coming into a situation, we're trying to connect with somebody, and we have a part of us that's concerned about how we're being seen, we cannot be vulnerable. We cannot meet the other person heart to heart and truly connect with them if we have parts of us that are protecting us and trying to control aspects of the relationship. And it's scary. It's really scary to, one, connect with someone. Like, I think sometimes we don't really sit in the seat of reality of that. Like, it is, you put yourself in a situation where you can get hurt, you get rejected, you can get ridiculed or betrayed. So connecting with somebody just even just like could be a partnership or a friendship, is a vulnerable act. Now you're saying you're going to get married to someone that you've never met before, a completely vulnerable act, and then on national television. Yes. So this is kind of why I use this show as a way, or part of me does use this show as a way to really highlight our protective mechanisms, because They are ever so present, and they have been ever so present this season. Now, what is and can be a drawback is usually our protective measures are usually functioning from a place of a response that is over responding. And they typically create the situation that they're trying to avoid. So they didn't want to get drugged on the internet, and what happened? They didn't want to be judged or ridiculed, and what has happened? And what they need to learn, and what we need to learn, is oftentimes how people respond. How people respond to us and the things that we do really helps that person get to know themselves. So this whole season that I've been watching this show, and I've been having my responses and reactions and watching them as I'm watching it, I'm learning something about myself. Ooh, Alicia, why did I have such a huge response to that? What am I carrying? And not to say that what that person did, whether it was Orion, whether it was Becca, whether it was Austin, whether it was Lauren, whoever I was watching at the time, not to say that what they didn't cause harm, or what they did wasn't maybe the wisest decision to make in the relationship at the time. Not saying that at all. And also, it helps me to know if I'm having a big reaction to it, chances are it's connected to my story. Chances are it's connected to some hurt I'm carrying. And so it's good for us to get curious about that. So I'm saying all of that to say that it would be nice for the cast to know. It would be nice for the cast to know that us viewers who are watching, yes, we're looking, and we may be saying, how dare you do X, Y, and Z? Or what in the world were you thinking? And at the same time, that's too really reflecting on some of our experiences. And also for them to get curious about, if everybody's responding in this way, I wonder what I need to do. And for them to get curious about themselves and how they're showing up and how they may need to work on some things. And we saw that ever so much this season, as we do every season. And so it's hard. It is challenging to see yourself on national television with everybody else and seeing the responses to the things that you're doing. It is very challenging to do that. And we saw so much protection that was happening with the cast the entire season, and then ever so much this reunion, and how there was so much confusion. And the irony of it all is they were fighting about who was gaslighting who, especially when it came to Cameron and Claire. And I want to say that, yes, there may have been some gaslighting going on between them, but I really feel like who they really gaslit was the watchers, the viewers of this show, as we're looking at their story. We're trying to be and root for them, or trying to understand them, trying to be with them in this process. And they were never in it. They were never fully in it to begin with, which is sad, which is really sad. It's sad for people who may have wanted to be in the process but didn't get chosen. And it's sad because for them, like, they robbed themselves of a true experience. There was so much backstory, so much happening. So for like Becca and Austin, it's so unclear who's on first and what's on second, because Austin says, I came here to get married. I came here for a marriage. And Becca is saying, I disagree. I disagree. I don't feel like you ever prioritized our relationship. The main priority was how you were being seen. And oftentimes what Kevin brought out was throughout the entire relationship, there was a part of him that was actively avoiding connecting with her and having intimacy with her, and not just physical intimacy, but just intimacy, period, with her. And so I wonder Like, I wonder if Austin has any experience, like really having an emotional connection. That's not stereotypically how men are socialized. And it seems like that is something that's an area of growth for him, and there's discomfort there. So if there's discomfort with you being your true authentic self, you are curating something that you want us to see and trying to meet Becca in this relationship. It is challenging. It is challenging. And having two different relationships, off camera and on camera, it's hard. But it's definitely something that it feels like Becca stated, like she just feels like she was not the priority in the relationship. Feels like also that Austin wasn't attracted to her. Also, the debacle with the producer comes up as potentially this was something that was happening throughout their marriage. This connection with the producer is unclear. He's saying for him that wasn't the case, and that situation after decision day where they didn't meet up, she just happened to be there. But Becca, the way Becca is stating it, it gives me the sense that maybe there was connection that was happening during their marriage. It's so unclear. Like, it is so unclear. You don't know who to believe watching this. And I have I have thrown up my hands. I have a part of me that's like, I'm not going to invest in this because I don't even know what's here. I don't know what's here. There's so much confusion because of how much they're protecting themselves even still at the reunion. So it's really challenging. Like, it's really challenging to know what's happening in their relationship. It's unfortunate. And so I'm hoping that they learn. Hoping that they learn from that. Lauren and Orion, when it comes to their relationship and what was talked about at their reunion, Lauren stated that she felt like Orion's motives for coming into this process were not pure. And I don't know. I get the sense because she said that the second day of their marriage, he felt like this could be an opportunity. This could be an opportunity for him to showcase his people. And because I know that there is such a missing representation of indigenous people out there, that yes, that could be a secondary motive, or like, oh, this is a great opportunity for this to happen. I don't feel that that is the only motive that Orion had to come into this process. I will say that I feel like in that moment when Lauren said that word and it became a huge moment in their relationship, it feels like because he felt the pressure of representing his people, it fueled that fire even more for him to have that rigidity around not giving Lauren grace, not hearing Lauren out as she was taking like full accountability for it. It became so much. And so I understand why too Lauren has this part of her that believes like that was the reason why you came here, because it was such a huge part of their marriage. Such a huge part of their marriage. And at the same time, I want, like, I think because their relationship was so short, and because it seems like the more they interact, the more fuel just tends to boil over, and it feels like they really could be at a place where they have just more peace about it, but because again they're put in spaces where they have to interact, or and they're here at this reunion, and it's like my perspective from a hurt place and your perspective from a hurt place, it causes more clash, it causes more damage. So a part of me is just like, I just want their marriage specifically, just because it was so short. A part of me just wants no more conversations with Lauren and Orion, please. But I hear Lauren, and I hear how a part of her is taking that in and taking those words in and saying, see, that's why you had this motive to display and to represent indigenous people on a platform that was huge. And Orion is saying, yeah, no, that I'm saying this could have been, or this could be a great opportunity for that to happen. At the same time, I still was focused on my marriage. Cameron and Claire, I don't understand how two people could be in the same place, have the same conversation, and have so different of a perspective of happenings, of goings on. Like, um, most of the couples, even though they may not have the same perspective, even fully hear each other, they seem to at least be able to agree upon, like, yeah, that did happen. Not Cameron and Claire. No, not Cameron and Claire. And I don't know, like, do both of them have parts of them that are protecting them by being dishonest throughout this process? I don't know. It's just, it seems like, well, either both of y'all are not being honest, or it's so confusing. It's so confusing. I can say that Claire's, it was something in her eyes that did feel a bit disconnected in like what she was saying. So I wondered about what she was saying. And if it was fully her truth, I didn't know. But there's the whole like attraction gate. Who wasn't attracted to who? They had this conversation, and Cameron, he owned that. He owned that on decision day, that he stated that he wanted someone slender, and how that triggered and activated something in Claire because that's something she struggled with, and how that situation that put up a wall, and she was very protective through their whole relationship because of that, and really feeling like he did not find her attractive. And then they showed Kevin cued the scene of her at the after party, watching him say that he finds Claire very attractive. And she said she never heard that. And at the same time, I remember him saying that when they were on the boat together, I think. And it was like I think their first date. So it wasn't the paint when they were throwing paint at each other, but it was the first date of them on the boat. And he said that she was a looker. I think it was on the group date. He also said she was attractive, and maybe because he already made that comment, that a part of her just dismissed those things and kind of just blocked it, like, nope, you said I wasn't slender. That's what you said. And that's sometimes what happens, especially if that's an area that we're really protective around, and it's been a part of our story. And parts of us can just like dismiss words that people are saying because it's not safe enough to believe them. If you've given me a reason to doubt your attraction to me, and then now you're saying that you are attracted to me, a part of or part of Claire could be like, I don't know. I don't know about that. Like, I don't know about that. But Cameron made some interesting accusations about Claire being in a relationship with her ex-boyfriend, that she was still in love with him, and that she was with him throughout their relationship. And Claire like vehemently denied that, saying that that wasn't the truth. Cameron also stated that Claire created a narrative about what they were going to argue about, that religion is a huge piece for her, and that she really didn't care about religion. Claire vehemently denied that as well, and that Cameron shut down and quit on the relationship. I don't know. I just don't. I don't sense that, and I don't. It's hard for me to believe that with what I saw, how Cameron was showing up. But who knows? He could be putting on this huge act. So it's like, how are we supposed to know as viewers what's real? How tell me how. Then they also show this scene of them at the dinner at the month anniversary, where they do all right, do you want a divorce? On the count three, we're going to say it. And then I think Cameron says divorce, and Claire says separated. And Cameron stated that that whole situation was because they already made a decision behind the scenes that they were going to separate. And at the same time, Cameron felt the pressure, like, from Claire, that he was supposed to bring it up. And he just didn't want to do that, because he really didn't want to be separated from her. And then he offered at the reunion that, and said like, hey, he's been thinking about their relationship and how it really could have worked out, and how it really could have been something, and offering a second chance, a clean slate. And Claire declined and stated that she is dating someone else. So it is interesting. It's interesting. Who knows? Who knows the truth. Obviously, we won't. We won't know the truth. We will just be speculating. We'll have parts of us that are making narratives about what actually happened. Oh, Cameron was lying, or Claire was lying, or both of them were lying. We have, we don't know, and so we're just here looking at them argue, and just shaking our heads at this point. It's pretty tragic. Emily and Brennan. My goodness. My goodness. Okay. This is also a couple. I was like, I don't know. Do we need to have them talk about their relationship at the reunion? I'm okay. There's a part of me that I think is just fatigued with how stressful this relationship has been. It seems, it just has been stressful to watch. It's been hard to watch. It's been hard to watch this relationship. And Brennan stated at the beginning he really just wasn't in it. He had made some decisions about that and was trying to give Emily a good experience. A part of him was trying to do that, and I want to know more about that. Emily was definitely in her protective energy at the reunion. Everything that Brennan said, there was like well, did you do that? Did you really do that? And was wanting to really hold him accountable to how she experienced him, how painful it was, how he said mean things. He said that Emily just had a response, or a big response, to whenever he talked, saying that he was like yelling when he was talking in a calm manner. And I don't know. Sometimes people can be expressive and have parts of them expressing them, and it could be that Brennan isn't aware of the energy he uses when he's speaking in a passionate way, or a charged way. He may not have awareness of that. And so maybe production can help him out, give him some footage from the house to really get that awareness, because it'll be good for him. It'll be good for him to know that the person that's talking to you, if they're saying that they're not feeling comfortable with the energy that you're speaking with, you may not really be aware that, oh, when I talk, I have facial expressions like this, or when I talk, my voice gets very sharp and edgy. You may not know that if no one's ever shared that with you. And if somebody tells you that, then you feel like nothing's wrong with how I'm talking. I'm not upset. And it's like, no. And then if you see yourself, then you're like, oh yeah, like my eyebrows were, kind of frowned in. I had, I could see that I was flushed. Like my skin was flushed and my heart was racing. I could tell I was had shortness of breath. Yeah, I had some energy around my words when I was speaking with you. And so it could be that Brennan isn't aware. It could be that Brennan fully isn't aware. And it's just, this couple. And Emily stated that there's a part of her that feels like Brennan just stuck along and then used her accident as a way to make himself look good. That's when she started getting very emotional, because it was such a huge response. And I feel like, and I said this throughout the season, that Emily just did not have moments to really be in what happened to her. Like that was a huge traumatic event. Had no space, because it was like a part of her was still trying to be the good daughter. This good daughter, this part of her that's like push through, be all in the sports, do what dad wants you to do. And it felt like very much so, like, I'm still going to go through the process. Yes, I'm going to go to the retreat the same day, even though, I have these stitches. I have, it's like, whoo, take a moment, be in this moment, let yourself process and feel these feelings. And so they're coming up as she is expressing them, because my goodness, what a huge moment to have, and then with somebody that you've had a very distressing relationship with. They also covered their therapy sessions and how those were pretty eventful. And Brennan stated, which is what I sensed, that a part of him didn't really understand therapy. He said that was his first time going to therapy. And so he had his guards up the entire time, which he has such high guards around information, around emotion. It's obviously that he is definitely not connected to them, whether there's parts of him that are numbing his feelings, parts of him that are blocking his feelings, parts of him maybe telling him it's not safe to feel. And so he doesn't even know what he's feeling when he's feeling it. And then to be in a situation where you're talking about your feelings, he's not, doesn't have experience in that. And it felt like also too, he felt like Dr. Pia maybe had an agenda. And not saying that she didn't, but that there's like, what are you asking this question for? Like, what are we don't need to talk about that. Like, no, we're on camera. We're this part of him that's like, we still need to present ourselves in a certain way. And then the whole delete gate conversation came up of him asking her to delete the camera footage of her confessional. And he said, well, I asked you, I didn't make you. And it's like, see how when you don't know what's happening internally for someone else, then you don't really know how they truly feel. What if they had a conversation of like, Emily, this video is kind of making me uncomfortable, and I'm wondering, like, how do you would feel about, I'm like, I don't know if I want this one to be seen by everybody. Can we have a conversation about it? Versus, can you delete that? And then her internally saying, well, I'm feeling pressured to do that because I want to do whatever it takes to make you be okay with being in this relationship, because yeah, after the honeymoon, like, you completely changed, and I'm trying to make this work. And so if Brennan doesn't have that information and he just makes the request and she deletes it, then yeah, he doesn't understand that internally for her, she felt like she had to do it versus just requesting. And so that's right, how the perception of that situation can feel completely different because he doesn't have access to what's happening internally for Emily at all. And it also seems like he doesn't really have access to what's happening internally for himself either. So I'm really hoping that this situation is going to maybe help Brennan to connect with himself, because he's got a lot of protection around his thoughts and feelings, and also he doesn't really have a lot of awareness of how he shows up. I really sense that, and something for him to get curious about. Emotional intelligence, it's an important skill to have, especially when you're in a relationship. You need it actually to be in a relationship in order to connect with someone, to hear someone. If you're not in tune with yourself, it can be very challenging for you to be in tune with someone else. And speaking of in tune, last but not least, we have Chloe and Michael. What an unfortunate situation, right, everyone? They had all the tools. Kevin stated that you guys had all the tools to make a relationship work, and still, what happened? After really going through their footage and their review, Michael stated that, a part of him regrets saying no on decision day. And Chloe's face, like, whew. She even had a part of her that was wanting, like, really wanting Michael to just say it. Just say what made you in the relationship. What made you not want to be married. And even Kevin said, well, you still haven't told her. And he still really didn't. Say. And it's kind of unfortunate because I really feel like Michael too has a level of curation that he uses as well, and he does withhold. He withholds, and so Chloe talks about looking back on the situation. She's like, Chloe, did you miss some signs? This gentleman didn't want to tell his mom that he was getting married. There was concerns. Like when I stated that I wanted some space away, she said a part of her was wanting him to vocalize like his concerns about her staying away. Like, what do you mean? We're having such a great time. No, please, like, I want to respect, like, I want to, and I feel like this could be an option. Sometimes it feels like internally when we have our fear-based responses that we have to do this or that. It's like we only have two options. Either I let her go to her apartment, or I say how I feel, and she feels bad and has to do what I want her to do. And it's like, actually, no, there's more options. He can say to her, you know what, part of me really wants to respect your request of needing some time away. Like, I really want to respect that. And a part of me is like, where are you going? Like, where are you going? We are having such a great time, and I really enjoy connecting with you. And a part of, like, you not being here is, it's kind of making me sad and wonder. And I don't know. So I'm saying all that to say that's what I'm holding, but I don't want to influence your decision on what you feel you need to do for you. But just know that I'm gonna miss you, and I don't want you to stay away, but respect your decision. Like, we can speak for our what we're holding, and I feel like Chloe is an individual who could hear that, have space for what Michael was holding, and not like make meaning about it. And so it's a miss. I feel like it's a miss because, one, Chloe had this part of her that was maybe putting up a test unintentionally, like, let me see if he really cares about me. And so we have parts of us that do that sometimes, do things to test out, like, do you care? Let me see. That's something for Chloe to get curious about. And also, Michael has some curiosities too. He has these really reassuring, polite parts, like wants to be unassuming, doesn't want to be viewed in certain light, and he is very cerebral. He has parts of him that are very thinker, overthinking, overanalyzing, and it leaves him in a space where he has regrets. Right? He wanted to say yes on decision day, looking back, and it's a missed opportunity. And kudos for Chloe to say, hey, you had an opportunity with me, you missed it. And I know my person who wants me, no question, is out there. So, something for them both to get curious about. But this reunion had me miffed and befuddled and all the things. But you share your comments below of how you're feeling as we are headed towards the second part of the reunion and saying goodbye. Goodbye to these couples and this season, really this season. But if you're still with us, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, be cool, be calm, be centered.